This past weekend, I attended the Philadelphia Area Gaming Expo, which was a lot of fun, and I got to see a lot of other D&D YouTubers there. While I was there, I asked them all a number of questions that were submitted by you, the viewers of Questing Beast. Let's get to them. The first question was from Driller Dev 4624, who asked, what is your favorite game as a player versus your favorite game as a GM?
Numenera, Cypher system from Numenera. Definitely my favorite system as a GM. Fortunately, my players don't seem to like it as much as I like it as a GM. As a player, that's a good question. I don't play a lot. I love 5e. You know, I'm a big fan of 5e, and I enjoy 5e as a player, definitely.
Oh man. Okay. Probably. Right now, I'm really preferring Dungeon Crawl Classics as a game master because there's not a lot of player character abilities I need to worry about. And I love how I don't have to think so much because I randomly determine through its myriad of tables all the crazy things that can happen. As a player, I don't mind systems with a little more crunch in that though, and a little more thinking because I just have to worry about my character. I can't pin it on a specific game right now though.
My favorite game to GM is Pathfinder 2nd Edition, which I do weekly. As for playing, wow, probably. I mean, it's boring, is Pathfinder 2nd Edition, but my favorite game of all time is Toon, which is a silly game where you play a cartoon character, and it's like, I really wish it would come back because it's perfect for convention play, but for modern, I'd actually probably say Shadow Dark. Shadow Dark is a lot of fun to play, and it's excellent for convention play. So,
I really enjoy running Numenera. I have not actually had a chance to play it too much, but the few times I have played it have not been as exciting as me GMing it. I really like the GM intrusions in that.
I would say my preferred game master system is somewhere between Shadow Dark and Maze Rats right now. As a player, I can't believe I'm going to say it, 5th edition?
I enjoy all sorts of different systems as a player. I'll play anything. As a game master, I prefer Deathbringer, which is my own system, which is old school, but with a bunch of action dice.
Our second question comes from About 15 Zebras, who asked, do you ever feel like you're stuck making TTRPG content? Ever wish you could make something else that you're excited about, but it doesn't really fit the theme of the channel? What would it be?
Not really, no. I like doing what I do. Yeah, I joked about being the one guy who was going to talk about how to run Foundry off of a Raspberry Pi at home, and I'd like me and like 12 other people would be super eager about talking about running Foundry on a Raspberry Pi. But not really. You know, tech stuff is kind of very fun for me, so I like doing that. But there's a lot of people talking about tech.
They're cool.
And yeah, I still like talking about RPGs more.
That's tough. Sometimes I think about that, like, how long can my tangents, for example, in a very recent video, I pointed out while I was filming outdoors, I was like, oh, here, there's actually like tracks in the snow and these spots where like deer were bedded down. So like my background is environmental education. I studied ecology and all that. I wonder how much of that I can bleed into my RPG videos before people are like, what is this guy talking about? But surely there's probably some other. Here's the thing, it's not really the content, it's the presentation. I wish I could just title a video, these 10 awesome tips for Shadow Dark, but it has to be, here's how you can change D&D, and then you're actually just using Shadow Dark within the video.
Right.
But yeah, that's it, the presentation.
well, the thing is, the secret of my channel is my topics that I like to cover are video games and movies. And if you ever watch Roll for Combat, we always eventually start talking about those two subjects. And that's usually by the end. That's usually when people know that we're wrapping it up because I digress into movies and video games, and usually sports as well. So those are the topics. If I could do another YouTube channel, would be one of those three.
I would love to cover history more. I'm actually a big history buff and would love to do more history videos. I've actually thought about starting a second channel that would just be focused on history videos.
Yeah, I'm going to start a new channel about it. I guess you can guess what it is, geopolitics.
I guess you already kind of covered that.
Yeah, I guess, but real world. Yeah.
I like watches. I'm a watch guy. That's my other hobby. I'm really into watches. But I don't really talk about that. That's the only thing I think I could think of. And it's kind of a similar hobby, too, in that you have people who are fanatically for or against a watch, just like a system. You know, you got like that skill-based camp and the D20-based camp, and they're ready to fight. It's like that with watches too. So it's every fandom you get like that kind of interaction.
Our final question comes from Here Come Mr. CJ, who wants to know, what's a very strong TTRPG opinion that you used to hold that over time you've changed on significantly?
Oh man, almost certainly. Yes. So I was very big into the tactical combat sort of aspects of 3.5, late 3.5 and 4E, and have completely turned around more towards story focused and abstract distances and things like that. So that's definitely one where how I ran the game 15 years ago is completely different than how I run the game now.
Yes, but in a circular way. My first game, as I've said in numerous videos before, my GM had the 5e Player's Handbook, but we didn't use it. We made up our character abilities, our spells, and just with him, like bantering back and forth. He would occasionally reference things for ideas, but it was purely for inspiration. And while I then went on a curve of really diving into 5e material hard and learning all the crunch and thinking about builds and things, I've kind of come through the other side and gone back closer to how we used to ran originally. So that's my opinion changing. Yeah.
I guess my biggest opinion for role-playing games is since I started in the 70s, it was very adversarial, and we would even have PvP and fighting each other during the game, and it was considered kind of normal, and it's become much more cooperative now, and it is a big breath of fresh air, to be honest, because I used to hate it when people would like pass notes to the DM and they would be like, you know, trying to sneak around you, or like the thief was trying to steal from the other party members. And this was pretty common in my games back in the 80s, 90s, even early 2000s. And now all of our games are completely cooperative. Everyone's very much, you know, helping out the party. I just had a game recently where one of the party members spent like 20% of his gold and gave 80% of his gold to the rest of the party just to use however they want. And it's a really, really nice change, and it's just a lot more fun in general.
Yes, when I was a younger gamer in the 90s, I was all bought in on the railroading storytelling GM has a vision. And anyone who is at all familiar with gaming in general, or my opinions today, know that I have left that far behind and believe that it's much more about the collaborative effort at the table, finding what the narrative is.
I used to have a lot more respect for railroady games than I do now. Now I definitely am very, very pro sandbox. I used to be like, yeah, balanced ideas, both sides. Now I'm very sandboxy now.
Yeah, I used to be a rules lawyer. When I was a teenager, I was a rules lawyer. I was very, let's stick to the rules. The professionals know what they're doing. As I grew older and went to more cons and met the professionals, they admitted to me they didn't know what they were doing. And some of the games had mistakes. And so they taught me it was actually okay to break the rules. People like Tracy Hickman, you know, it was okay. So yes, I've shifted from a very we must follow the rules kind of guy to we could kind of fudge the rules and let's say hack the rules.
I thought a lot of these questions were really good, and actually a lot of the YouTubers I interviewed said the same thing to me. So thank you so much to everyone who sent in questions. If you want to see more videos like this, remember to like and subscribe to Questing Beast, and thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you next time.